Bueno, si quieres aprender más sobre lo que es la famosa ley de atracción, estás en el lugar correcto porque hoy comienza el primero de una serie de videos que vamos a estar tirando todos los domingos con mi amiga April Goodwa de Self Mastery Mentor. Hoy básicamente es, mira, lo sencillo, qué es, cómo funciona, cómo le podemos quitar el misterio a esta famosa ley. Así que ponte cómodo o cómoda porque mira, esto empieza ahora.
Well, this is our Sunday series, and today we're going to be starting with our first video talking about the law of attraction. Specifically, we're going to be talking about what it is so you can get the basics on the topic. So here we are.
All right, so what is our first question?
What is it? I mean, what's the law of attraction? And I think that this is the first question that everybody has on their mind because we have a lot of misconceptions about it. I'm sure you had them. I have them. I still have a couple of questions also. We're always learning, but at least I think we can clear their minds and give them an overall feeling of what it is, how you can use it, and how you can really change your life with it.
I think that's a great place to start. I know when I first started learning about law of attraction, I was so overwhelmed with information because there's so much and it seems so complicated. So to break it down, very simple, law of attraction, what it is basically what you put out into the world is what you get back. And it's all about the vibration, your dominant thoughts, your dominant reality that you allow yourself to be in mentally and emotionally, and making sure that you're, having a good thought and good emotion towards your dreams and towards the things you want. And when you do that, it will come back to you.
Yeah, it's true. I think we were talking about these days about the topic, and I actually got to understand this by trying to find a relationship between the law of attraction and frequency, right? Because people talk about frequencies all the time, but how can you make it like real or simple to understand? So it's basically like a radio, and a lot of people just imagine that you're in a frequency listening to reggae music, and what you've always wanted is to listen to rock and roll. Well, the issue is that unless you change your frequency, I mean, nothing's going to change. You're going to still keep listening to the same music. And as you know, the most important thing here is your thoughts and your emotions. If you haven't changed that, you're going to still keep listening to the same damn music, and it isn't going to change unless you change. So I think this is where we come in, so we can give them a couple of tips so they can understand it a little better.
That is so true, Juan. You made an amazing point right there because, people always wait for something to happen, then I'll be happy. Once I achieve the goal, then I'll be happy. But what law of attraction really is being happy before receiving what it is you're seeking and feeling that emotion. So you're right when you say, you're listening to a certain radio station, you can't just expect it's going to change to another station if you aren't going to change it. You have to change first, then you'll hear the other radio stations. The same thing with our vibration and our energy, and most importantly, our emotions.
Yeah, it's true. There are a lot of things that we want in our lives. A ton. I mean, money, relationships. What I've learned as a coach, which people may think that it's different from creating it, and it isn't actually, because when you help people, you're actually changing their vibration. I mean, they're changing it for themselves, and you're just a guide. That's all we are. I mean, that's all April and I am right now. We're guides. You're just, you're in your own movie. You're creating your reality. We're just trying to help you along the way. So we want a lot of things, but in essence, what do we really want is to be happy, and this is where we get caught up. I mean, if we understand it as frequency and what we want makes us happy, why can't we be happy now? I know it's weird. I know they may say it's easy for you to say, but it's not easy. I mean, it's simple, but it's not easy. If you could find a way to be happy where you are while you're working towards what you want, things start to to set up. It's like our meeting, like April and I. I mean, we got to know each other in a weird way. I don't know if you want to tell them about how we get to know each other. I can fill in the blanks for you if anything.
Yeah, so Juan and I met actually through the YouTube channel. I had a video about what was the video topic?
It was, oh my God. It was, the topic was, I know I was searching for information for my book, and I'm trying
Not
to
living
remember.
in
I
denial.
look for it. I look for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
not living in denial.
Not
Exactly.
living in denial. I had a video about not living in denial, and Juan saw the video, and actually the way that I presented the material in the video helped Juan with his book that he's writing and helped him see a perspective of not, living in denial and knowing that you are the creator of your life. So we actually met that way and started communicating and emailing back and forth and decided we were going to, get together, do a collab. And then one collab turned into, well, let's do a Sunday series and really, give people a show on Sundays that they can tune into every week and learn more about as the weeks go.
Yeah, that's how things happen. I mean, I remember that I saw it and I wrote to you because I was grateful. And when we're grateful, that's what we do. I mean, it doesn't, we don't even think about things, and look what came out of it, because I appreciated what you did, and then we began talking and things happened, and you weren't seeking for it and I wasn't seeking for this. So this is how things happen. And usually we make it so hard. I mean, we try to manifest things and we're fighting against, the flow, when we should be just living and doing what we think we need to do.
Exactly. And that's one point actually I think we should talk to the viewers about is law of attraction difficult to do? Sometimes people have the misconception that law of attraction is difficult, or they have this manifestation of, I want to meet the love of my life, let's say, for example, and they put it out into the universe and say, this is what I want, this kind of partner. But then a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, and they say, well, why haven't I received it yet? And then they get upset and change their vibration, and then they go against it. So, for our viewers, is it difficult? I want you to explain your position on that, and then what people can do to not make it so difficult. Just the basic of how easy it is.
Yeah. How can I say this? It's, as I said, it's simple to understand, but to apply on purpose, there is the catch, because we do this all the time. I mean, it's like gravity. I mean, I could fall like walking down the street. I'm not gonna get angry at gravity. I mean, it's just the effect. And the same thing happens when we're trying to manifest something on purpose. And I think it's that we just don't allow things to happen. We tend to believe that we need to do something, and sure, we need to do, but it doesn't need to feel forced. I think that when I talk about difficulties, I see it as when you plant a seed, and most people plant seeds, and sure, you have to nurture it, you have to water it, but people get hung up because they're digging a hole and they're trying to find out, hey, is it growing? I mean, let me check it, and it's not going to grow that way. I mean, it's hard. If my wife told me when she was 2 months pregnant, I mean, you're going to have a baby, and I said, well, where is it? I want to see it. I mean, you can't. You have to wait. You have to allow things to happen as soon as you know what you want, right?
Exactly.
Because for now you're gonna keep creating what you've always been creating. So I think that the first step to understand in the difficulty of it is that you're creating what you've always been creating. So if you notice what you've been creating, at least you can have somewhere to start with.
I agree. And one point I want the viewers to understand is we don't want to be in resistance to what it is we want. So if what makes law of attraction difficult is being in resistance. So if I say I want to make $5,000, then I make that my manifestation. I put the thought out there and I think about that $5,000. I don't worry about when it will get here, how it will get here, why it will get here, in what form it will get here. You just let it go, you release it, go about your life and enjoy doing things, have fun with your life, and allow the universe to bring that manifestation into you without you asking, where is it? It's not here yet.
Yeah.
Or which way, how is it going to come? Which way is it going to be delivered to me? Is it going to be a check? Is someone going to give me cash? Like, when you think too much about it and worry too much about the how, what, where, when, and why, you are then in resistance because you're trying to control the narrative instead of letting the narrative come to you. So that's, I think, what makes it difficult. And it's really just as simple as saying, this is what I'm seeking, I'm grateful for it, and then you just release it and allow it to come.
Yeah. I love the topic of money and law of attraction because there are different ways of going about it. I mean, there isn't like a right and a wrong way. I have my way, and I've been specific about money and I've gotten it, but I've also been not specific because in the end of the day, let's say $5,000. It's not the money per se. It's not. I'm not gonna cover my bed in money and lay on it and be happy. I want it for something. So if I focused on what I wanted it for, I mean, what's gonna give you the happiness? Is it the money itself, or is it the trip that you want to take? Maybe it's that, and maybe you don't need the $5,000 to get there. That's where we can hang up because we see the thing. But if we focus on searching what's gonna make us feel good about it, as I said, it's not necessarily the money. I'm gonna give you an example. I think I haven't told you this story before, but about 5 years ago, I started in this, but I didn't understand it. So I did this completely. It was random, but I followed the process without even knowing it. I was working as a medical sales rep, and I had a good income, but it wasn't what I wanted. It was actually like what I wanted was like $25,000 more than what I had. And it was weird because I had a number on my head and it wasn't that I just wrote it down. I want this. No, it was that I heard that my competition was earning that. And I don't know why it got fixed in my head. And it was like $25,000 more. And I just imagined myself what I was going to do with that money. So it wasn't necessarily the money. I saw myself like buying this, or maybe opening an account, or maybe traveling. And it went like this for 6 months. And during that process, I actually got interviewed for other companies because in my company, I wasn't expecting a raise. They've never given raises in about 30 years. Wow. So it wasn't coming from my job, I thought. So when I got the offer, it was actually for the other company, it was actually $40,000 more, but I didn't like the company. It was weird. I mean, it was like, hey, here's more money than I imagined, but I don't like this company. So I just flow with it. I went to my boss and I gave him the letter of resignation, and he said, "Do you have the offer with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I gave him the offer that the other company gave me, and he said, "Give me 2 weeks."
Oh.
It was really weird. When I came back, this is the interesting part. He couldn't give me the same offer because it was too much for the company, but the number that he gave me was off like $1,000 from the number that I had in my mind. And let me tell you, I didn't want to leave my company at that time. I was happy there. I just wanted the money, and that's what I got. But first, if I expected it to come from my company, I probably could have hung up and never got it. But I took a different action, and that led me to the same result, even better, because I didn't want to go to the other one. And I didn't even mind losing the other 15,000 grand more. I mean, because I was happy where I wanted, and I got the money that I wanted at the time.
Yeah. I think that's an awesome example too for people to, review and think about, is that what you wanted was the $25,000. Yeah. You didn't worry about how it was going to get there, when you were going to get it. You just went about your life and the way that it came to you was probably in a very different and indirect way than what you would have expected if you had tried to plan it and figure it all out. But what really matters is that we don't have to worry about or know or figure out how it's going to come. We just have to know it will. And that is the whole basis of everything, is when we try to micromanage our manifestation, how it's going to get here, the why, the when. That micromanaging is what throws the law of attraction off. It's what throws you receiving your manifestation off completely. So that's one thing I can give a tip on everyone, is to not try to control the narrative. Just allow it to happen. Yeah.
And there are things that you just can't control. I mean, sure, we are co-creators, but I can't control sunlight. I could dim my windows, sure, but the sun is still going to be out there. And if I judge things that happen as good or bad, I may be missing out, because that's what people think. I mean, I wanted this money and it isn't happening. Hey, they even fired me from my job. Well, maybe it had to happen in order for the money to come. You don't know. But if you label things, if you label things as good or bad, you might get derailed by it.
So Juan, what can we tell the viewers for, advice if they're trying to use the law of attraction their first time? Let's say this is a whole new concept. They've learned a lot of things from us already. So what do they do to make it work? How do they do it?
Well, this part is easier. Just ask yourself a question. How would you feel if you already had it? Just ask yourself the question and let it fly and see how you feel. If you wanted a great relationship, well, how would you feel if you had it? Would you be anxious? Would you be happy? What would you do? How would you act? How would you talk? How would you walk? Because it's not only having it here. I mean, your mind is interesting because your mind controls your body and your body controls your mind. So if you're insecure, it's going to show off, in your body language. And the same thing happens if you change your body language, that you get a little slumped over and stuff like that. You feel depressed, you feel sad. It's how we're connected. But if you ask yourself, how would you be if you were this person? How would you act? Or if you can't answer that, how do people like that act? I mean, how do billionaires react when they have money? Because a lot of people think that when you have tons of money, and tons of money for me could be $10 million, $20 million, I don't know. The concept may change in a year or something, we don't know. But if I thought that it meant spending, then I'm gonna spend all my money, and it's not true. These people act differently. These people are people who earn a lot of money, people who have more responsibility act differently. You who are watching us, probably maybe you have a job, or maybe you're in charge of people. You already know that you have to act differently from the rest. So what I'm asking you is, imagine yourself being this person who you want to be. Ask yourself, how would I act? And then become that person, and then we're going to help you with the rest. But at least for now, just try to contemplate that area. How would you be if you were this person?
And I think I'm going to break it down even more simple for you guys too, is I'm going to go back to that love example. Let's say, everyone in the world is looking for love at some point, right? So it's a topic most people can relate to. So let's say, you're looking for that love partner. Well, like Juan was saying, how would you feel had that partner already been in your life? Would you be happy? Would you feel loved? Would you be comfortable? Would you feel secure and safe? What types of emotions, and the key word here is emotions, would you feel had that manifestation already happened in your 3D reality? So for me, when I first started with law of attraction, one of the things I wanted was my forever partner. So I had to look at, okay, how would April feel had she already had this guy in her life? Would she be happy? Yes, she would. Would she wake up every morning with a smile on her face because she has a good morning text? Yes, she would. Would she feel confident and secure with herself and in the other facets of her life because she has that grounding stability? Yes, she was.
Yeah.
So those are the three things I had to implicate into my life and start living my life by feeling those emotions now instead of when I meet the guy. You have to make yourself become part of that and feel those emotions in your current day before that will come into you. Because remember, like attracts like. So if I'm making myself feel happy and confident and secure and loved myself, that partner who will do that for me will be attracted to that energy and will come to me. But if I'm in a depressed state and, oh, I'll never find them, oh, they're never coming, then they won't come, you know? You have to put yourself in that emotion as if you had it, like you said.
Yeah. Even though today we're not going to cover the topic of beliefs, but it's something that we're going to get into later on, because the conversation that you have in your head, that's what's creating your results. It doesn't matter what you want. Because if you're programming, if what you have in here is set for lack, or is set for suffering, or set for a lot of hard work, that's what you're going to get. I mean, and that's hard for people to get. It was hard for me. I'm sure it was hard for you, April, because understanding that you're responsible for what you're creating, it isn't that easy to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow, but you have to.
It is, especially if you're coming from an already lower vibration of feeling maybe the lack, right? And I'll go back to that love partner example. If I'm in a state of saying, man, I really wish I had a guy, I really wish I had the love of my life, and I'm in that lack state, then even if what I want and what I'm seeking is that forever person, then my dominant vibration is lack. So it's not going to be able to come to me because I'm, butting heads with what I want. So one of the things I had to learn along the way is anytime I started to feel that lack feeling or the lack emotion or the, not so good feelings, I would immediately have to become consciously aware of where I was at and make the choice, the conscious decision to choose to turn my vibration into happy again. It's like, oh, April, you're starting to feel lack or you're starting to feel lonely. Let's do something that makes you happy. Let's do an activity or call a relative that makes you feel loved. Let's incorporate the love in your life. And so it was something you have to be aware of and then make the conscious choice to do. Yeah.
I don't know if this has happened to you or have you heard about it, but in my experience, and I make a lot of jokes about this when I'm doing a seminar and stuff, because it tends to happen a lot. And when you're alone, or when you're at least it happened a lot to me when I was single and my friends were single. It was weird. It happens a lot to men. I don't know why. Maybe it's a belief. I don't know. I have to check that out. And when you're alone, sure, you date, but you get through this series of hang-ups that sometimes you want to find something and you don't. But the minute that you're in a good relationship, all the girls that you want to date apparently come from out of nowhere, and they're like, "Hey, I found out that is it true? I mean, are you with someone? I mean, hey, you didn't." And it's weird, but if you see it from a manifestation point, it makes sense. Because I let go, because I already have. So because I'm not searching, it came, and it's like, shit. I mean, where were you like a month ago?
I'm laughing so hard that you said that, because that's my current situation. And for so long, it was like I was in that lack state, and I was in a lower vibration because I didn't understand the emotional side of it, and that I had to feel that emotion and kind of let go of those feelings of lack. And once I did, it was like phones going off every day, and just like what you said, it's true.
I mean, it's like when you stop caring, things happen. It's weird, but it's sort of like that, because it doesn't mean that you don't want it. It's just like that you're not grasping to it. You just let it go.
And let's go one step further with this for people who are listening. When you are in that, you finally get to the state of just saying, you know what, I don't care. What's happening is you're putting yourself in a flow state, which means you're allowing the universe to bring in and take out whatever is supposed to come in and take out. So the most important is being in that flow state, which is not thinking about it too much, not wondering the where, when, how, why, all the micromanaging, and you just get into a state of, I don't care, and you put yourself in a flow state without realizing it, and the universe then can give you its gifts.
Yeah, you're gonna get it's like you take steps, but it's not, you don't feel like obligated. It's different because you feel guided, you feel inspired, and sure, you're gonna take steps out of anger because all emotions are useful. Sometimes you need to get angry to move, and especially when you don't listen, and the universe has been telling you, hey, you need to do this, and you don't listen, and then the problem comes back with another name or with another person or through another situation, because they're trying to get our attention to say, hey, or either I need to change or I need to move out of this situation, because if not, it's gonna keep on repeating and repeating and repeating. So I see all of this as an education. We're learning. I mean, we're still learning here.
We are.
And it's part of the process.
And what you said right there is, I think, will be a great topic for us to talk about on one of our future Sunday series, is about karmic lessons. And that's what Juan was saying, is how we, in order to have our manifestation and achieve that, sometimes there's certain things we need to learn, certain lessons. And until those lessons are learned, we can't receive that. So that's a great topic for us to expand on in one of our future videos. And if you guys do want to hear that, let us know so that we can actually dive deep into that, because that's one of my favorite topics, is teaching people the karmic lessons. So I think we have a couple more things that people will want to know on before we go about, Law of Attraction 101. One of the things I think a lot of people wonder is, can they manifest anything they want, or are there limits to manifestation?
Sure. We get back to the same principle. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So could I manifest landing on the moon? I don't think so. Can I imagine being on the moon? Yeah, probably. But there are, I think that, sure, everything that, let's put it another way. I think that every desire that we really have, it happens because we can manifest it. And I'm talking about real desires, not just, hey, I saw a Lamborghini today and I just want it. But that's not really like a desire, that's a want. But there's no, at least in my part, unless it's something that I really, really want, that I'm always thinking about, that it's in my mind and it's in my heart, sure. But that's where a lot of people, again, get hung up, because they see this, or I want this, and they see that, but they don't really want it, or subconsciously they're rejecting it. It's like the lottery. Sure, a lot of people play the lottery, but when you ask them about the money, they have negative beliefs about being rich. And that's why they get the money and then they spend it all, because they can't keep it.
And I think another thing too is, I do believe you can manifest anything you want. Anything is possible. But like Juan said, it has to be something you truly, truly want. Like for me, when I was growing up as a little kid, I always wanted to be a professional businesswoman who wore, suits and high heels and nice dresses and did well, and, lived in a very nice place. And it was always in my heart ever since I was little. It wasn't just I woke up on Friday and said, oh, I want this life. It was a desire in my heart that was always there. And so it did happen. It did come to fruition. And all of the things that I truly had a desire for have come. So it's all about, is it a true desire, or do you just wanting it because you want something that's easy and, it's not really something you truly want. It's just there. So it's
Yeah.
all about, I think you can manifest any level of what you want. It's just about whether that passion for it is truly there or not.
Yeah, when you focus on something, it's like using one of those like focusing the sun. You know, when we were little, that we have, you know, those things. How do you call it in English? The lupas, the thing that you use to like focus the sun to burn the leaves. It's like round, the magnifying glass.
Magnifying glass, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you focus on something, is pretty much like that. It becomes like a laser. But most people aren't that focused. They're everywhere, and that's why they manifest everything and this and that, and they're
sometimes not
focused.
good things.
Yeah, I mean, and as I said, we could see those bad things as maybe life telling you, hey, stop looking over here, move over there, and, you know, focus more on that instead of always looking at the bad thing, or maybe always focusing on the problem. It's always telling us what to do and how to focus. So focus is something very important, especially when it's something that you really want, because you don't really need to think about it. It's already there.
That's good. And so, okay, one thing I want to ask real quick is, because we're talking about different levels of manifestations in that question, are some manifestations harder or easier to achieve and receive than others?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, there are things that maybe for me they're easier, and maybe for you it's not, and vice versa. Maybe you have, but it all comes down to what we have here, and the way that we're set up. For example, for me, it's easy to, let's say, career-wise. I could lose my job today, and I know that I'm gonna find another one better tomorrow. I mean, I just know. It's a knowing. I have no doubt. I don't need to put a picture anywhere. It's part of me because it is me. That's why I get that. And other people's maybe have more experience. Maybe they could have everything else, but they don't have that belief behind it.
And I do want to say one thing. I know, you know, how easy your manifestation comes into you is really based on how much resistance you have to it, or how much importance you make it, and also how detailed. Sure. So I want to go on 2 points here. If you care so much, right, let's say about having that partner, and it's so important that you gotta have them, and you gotta have them, and you gotta have it, well, that now you're coming from a place of lack and need and desire. So it's coming from a lower vibrational state. And so if we,
that's what you're going to attract.
And let's say if I say, well, I just want a new friend to hang out with for the weekend, but you don't think too much about it. You just let it go. You let it happen. That manifestation will probably come to you easier and quicker, because you're not making it so important and such the, you know, center focus of everything. You're not attaching such a desire to it. Now, on the other aspect, if your manifestation is very detailed, and you say, well, I want a guy who's 6'4" and, you know, does this or does that, and he's got these color eyes and this color hair and blah, 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 and you make a huge list, it's going to take time for that specific thing to come in. The universe might bring you things that are close, but the more detailed your manifestation, the harder it's going to be for the universe to get it to you. And that doesn't mean that the universe won't get it to you, because the universe will give you everything that you want. But if it's going to be very extremely detailed, then you need to expect, you know, some time for that to come into fruition.
I thought that we needed to clarify also that for people who are new to this and listen to us talking about using words like universe and energy, I mean, this isn't something that's out there. It's something that's completely normal. This is part of us. And when we talk about the universe, it's us, because we are part of the universe. And we are being like It isn't like we get something good because we're being good or something bad because we're being bad. It's just a reflection of who we are. So if we could change that part of who we are to something specific, then the reflection is going to show back what you did. And that's all. I mean, we get too complicated sometimes thinking about these topics. And the truth is that, I mean, the mirror is showing your changes, and some changes happen fast and some changes take more time. Maybe you have to go through other experiences. And also, I wanted to mention before we go on is that your past it helps you. It actually educates you. Don't see it as a hang up, because
Yes.
you're gonna stay back there, and you don't need to stay there. Just learn from it and keep on moving.
And one thing I'll go on with this before our last takeaway of this topic.
Yeah.
One last thing, touching on what you said, is let's say I'm manifesting the love of my life. Again, I'm going to use this example, right? So we can all kind of stay together as we're talking. If the guy is my forever guy, Mr. Perfect, I have this big long list of everything that I want. He might be a year down the road, right? But the universe might need to send me someone first so that I can learn a lesson, so that I am ready to be the vibrational match to him. So that way the relationship will last. Sometimes we have to go through little hoops first in order to get that. For example, with you, Juan, when you wanted the extra $25,000, you didn't just get it from your company like you expected, right? You went outside of your company, you got another interview, you got another offer, and then you brought it back to your company. So you went through a couple hoops in order for you to really receive what you wanted. But had you walked into your boss's office and said, I want $25,000, give it to me.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have. Yeah, so sometimes when it seems like the universe is redirecting us along our journey for that manifestation, every redirection is actually getting us to where we want and to what we want. So you have to remember that. If it ever seems like off, or it ever seems, difficult, just know that redirection is for what you truly want.
Yeah, let's say if your perfect man is like, his description is on a menu on a restaurant, right? And you're ordering, I want this man this way and this way and this way. And then the waiter goes off. Are you going to really go to the cook and every 15 minutes, hey, where's my man? I mean, he's cooking. Just let the guy cook so they can send it off to you. So that's where we need to understand that we're always sending out things that we want, but we're not allowing, which is something that we're going to talk about more on coming events. But for now, understand that you need to be a match for the things that you want, but you need to change. The world doesn't need to change. When you change, things change.
Exactly. So the last thing I think that will be a great takeaway for the viewers and listeners today is, what is the number one law of attraction key for you to remember, or them to remember, when they are manifesting? What is the number one most important thing you would say?
Yeah, I'd say it's focus. I'd say are you really focusing on the things that you want, or is it on what you don't want? It isn't the same thing. I mean, I've heard all of it. I've had clients. I had a lady that she talked to me like for half an hour about the type of guys that she doesn't want. She told me, I want a guy that doesn't hit me, that doesn't talk back to me, that doesn't do this and doesn't do that. After half an hour of that torture that I told her, you're torturing me. I mean, I told her, and you're really don't know why you keep attracting these type of guys? Did you know that you've been talking about that for half an hour? I can't imagine that's what you're thinking all the time. That's what you talk to your friends all the time. And that's what you create, and that's what you attract. The perfect guy could be right in front of you. But if I was that guy, I wouldn't even talk to you, because I would get annoyed. I would be like, wow, I mean, you're not congruent.
And to touch on that, she was focusing on what she didn't want, which were guys who hit her, guys who are mean to her, talk back to her, instead of focusing on, I want a guy who's loving, caring, You know,
Exactly.
so it's all about the focus factor. Like Juan was saying, is are you going to focus on everything you don't want, or are you going to focus on everything you do want? You can't pay attention and give energy to the things you don't want, because then you're in a contradiction to what you're seeking.
Yeah, it's like if we were talking, if we were moving from relationships, let's say, to health. You do exercise, April. I do exercise also. We focus on being healthy. We don't focus on being sick. I don't do CrossFit because I don't want to be sick. I do CrossFit because I want to be healthy and I want to look good. It's the same with you. So imagine if we always focus on not getting this or not getting that. I mean,
So my last takeaway that I want you guys to know, the number one key for law of attraction, what you're working on, is going to be make sure you're in check with your emotions. Your emotions are everything, because your emotions are your vibration, right? So if I'm mean and I'm mad and I'm sad and I'm in this mood all day, then I'm not going to attract what it is I want. So I can manifest, let's say, a new job. I want to get a new job or extra money, but I'm mad all the time because I don't have any money right now. Well, I'm not going to attract what I want because I'm always mad. But if I instead say and have my emotions be in the state of, I'm really excited for my new job, I'm really excited for the opportunities coming, and you put your emotional state in a positive one, then you will attract that. So it's all about your emotions and what your dominant emotions are. You want to make sure you check that. So if any negativity comes in, or any doubt or any fear or any lack, you have to make the choice to change that emotion into a positive, happy one.
Yeah, that's true. If you're in, let's say, getting back to the topic of relationship, you could ask yourself, hey, would my dream with a person act like I'm acting right now? Because you're gonna attract something like you. They may be different, sure, because it's not like you're gonna have the same type of personality. But if you want to be happy and you want to attract somebody who also makes you happy, then be happy. Don't be angry all the time expecting somebody to change you, because it's not gonna happen.
Exactly. And, you know, thing for you guys to remember is everything you want is on its way to you. One thing I always say on my channel is that everything you're seeking is seeking you. You just need to be into alignment with it. So if what I'm seeking is my forever person, then I need to reflect in my life a happy, confident, loving person. And when I become that vibration, I become that energy, then what I'm seeking will find me.
Yeah.
Well, great. Sure. Well, is there anything else you want to say to anyone, Juan? Is there any last words before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, you can't miss the series. I mean, we've been preparing for you this week, and it's only gonna get better. Even my English is gonna get better. I can even feel it coming back. Right? I'm practicing here with my friend April. So, we're gonna be talking about new topics. And as she said, if you have an idea, if you have a question, please put it out there. Let us know so we can talk about that topic. Or if you have a situation that you want to share, that would be awesome also, because we could talk about it and maybe other people could learn from your experience.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. If you guys want to know more about law of attraction, where we can really go in detail, in depth, we can do that next week on our next episode. If you guys want a whole different other topic, we can do that as well and kind of bounce topics. So let us know what you guys prefer and what you're seeking, and we will make that happen for you. So it was great talk today, Juan. It was awesome call. I think we gave a lot of information for people, so they might want to give it a listen twice. Sure. And if you guys have not subscribed to either of our channels, make sure to go subscribe to those right now. I know Juan, on my page, you're in my featured channels, so anyone can go to my channel and they'll see Juan's channel on there as well, so you can click on his. Juan, I'm sure if you want to put it in the description box on yours.
Sure.
Perfect.
Sure.
Well, I guess thank you guys for watching today. Thank you for all the views and everything, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.